everybody, and welcome to another True Purpose Ministries podcast. We appreciate you joining us today, and my name, of course, is Jeremy Graham, and I am the president of True Purpose Ministries and the founder. And, of course, we have a wonderful guest today. We have Mr. Ben Cantwell, and brother, we appreciate you being on the podcast today. And a lot of people that are going to see this thumbnail up there, they're going to see you, and they're automatically going to click because, man, you know, we call you Ben 10. We got all kinds of nicknames, but Ben 10 is one of those nicknames. When he first came in, his hair and everything was, I always say, flowing like milk and honey. And we called him Ben 10 back then, and man, it stuck. It never, you never did lose that
I look like a
nickname.
superhero, Ben 10.
Yeah. I tell you, all my kids still call you Ben 10.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my kids, or all of my kids, they knew you from very early on, and they still call you that. But, man, I really wanted him to come on the podcast because we have a lot of graduates out there just living the life, having a family, just being successful. And Ben is one of those. I really was talking to him the other day, and I said, man, would you please just come on here and tell your story? Ben was one of the first guys in our program. He came in 2010. We started it in 2009. We were just talking that he was here when Todd Ayers graduated. Todd Ayers was our first student, and he was also our first grad. Mm-hmm. And so he was here, and then of course he was here when he graduated, and so that's early, man. We were at the thrift store in Knoxville and going around picking up couches on the side of the road and trying to take them to our thrift store and selling them. And I tell you, man, it's just been a long, wonderful road. Yeah. And so, Ben, if you don't mind, we want to get to where you are now, but we have to start to where you were. Sure. Tell me about, man, your life before you got to True Purpose Ministries, man.
Absolutely. So, life before True Purpose, well, it starts off in the big city of Morristown, Tennessee. Big city. Just kidding. Grew up in a Motown 423 East. I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Yeah. But grew up in a, loving, caring home, loving, caring family. I believe it was a normal family. So, kind of what my description of normal was, or what my description normal is. But just because it was normal and they loved me and cared for me doesn't mean that there wasn't dysfunction there. Sure. So there was some dysfunction early on. A lot of that had to do with, I guess, what I would say, a lack of intentional parental supervision. So, again, my mom and dad loved me. They cared for me. Aunts, uncles loved me, cared for me, but I did a whole lot of stuff on my own. I did a whole lot of playing on my own. I looked to my peers for a lot of wisdom about life and how we do things and what, just what life looked like. So, sure. So even at the onset, I started to kind of grow, even though again, it was loving and caring and great in a lot of ways, there were some things that wasn't good. And I kind of started to grow, kind of in an unhealthy direction, I suppose.
Now, one major, childhood trauma that, if you don't mind, just
sure.
kind of talk about just briefly, is the loss of your dad.
Yeah.
A lot of you out there, I'm sure have experienced that, a loss of a loved one. That is a major childhood trauma that a lot of people experience in their childhood, and it really sets the course, for the rest of your life. And so, that was one thing I know that when you came in, you battled, of course, and that's, of course, what led you into drugs and alcohol again, of course, that pain, right?
Yeah. So, that happened, when I was 10, so actually 9. I was 9, it was the day for my birthday. Okay. So when I was 9, April 20th, April 20th, 2000, right around 2000. And then the next day was my birthday. And so experiencing that loss, was really traumatic, and especially the day before my birthday. Sure. During that time, sure. Man, that created and caused a lot of pain in my heart.
Yeah, man. So as you started dealing with that, you started trying to deal with it in ways that were unhealthy. Yeah. What kind of drugs did you start off with, and then what did you ultimately end up using?
Sure. I guess, it really started with nicotine. Nicotine is absolutely a drug. And so it started with nicotine. Mm-hmm. kind of, experiencing that and going after that a little bit, and then alcohol, and then marijuana. So, marijuana is really, I was kind of dabbling with the other things, but when I started smoking marijuana is when
It's a gateway drug.
It was a gateway drug, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have that argument that
Yeah.
it is not, but a lot of those arguments that people are saying that it's not a gateway drug are the ones that are trying to legalize it for profit. That's
Yeah.
why they're doing that. But I will tell you that every single person I've ever asked in this program that is addicted to fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, pain pills, all that kind of stuff, alcohol, they all say that most of it started with marijuana, and
Yeah.
they say that it was a gateway drug.
Yeah.
It opened it up to so much more.
It did.
So please be careful, kids, if you're watching, and parents, please, if you're just looking at it and saying, "Oh, it's just weed," no, it's more than weed. Just please watch them and try to get them help ASAP.
That's right.
So.
That's right. And yeah, that's where it started. But then it led to other things like opiates. I remember starting even to dabble with pills as early as probably around 13 or 14.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Taking
That's early.
benzos and things like that. I wasn't addicted at that point, but I was getting a taste, and I was using pretty consistently, and I was mixing that with smoking weed and doing all those things.
Well, how old were you when you came into True Purpose?
I was 20.
Okay, 20.
True
All
Purpose,
right,
yeah.
you were a kid, man.
I was a kid.
All right, so Ben came into our program. We were not quite to the famous or the infamous Walbrook Studios. A lot of people that are watching, you may know about Walbrook Studios, but that was like a staple with True Purpose Ministries. But I tell you, the Lord brought us through that. But talk to us a little bit about the program and about what the program was like for you, briefly, if you don't mind, and tell us how it ministered to you.
So, when I come into the program, I was at a point again where my addiction went from just dabbling and using here and there to full blown IV drug use. And, I was totally dependent upon opiates, dependent upon benzos, really anything in that family of drugs I was doing and I was addicted to and dependent upon it.
Yeah.
I just got to a point to where really I didn't want to be here anymore, and I just was wanting to numb everything. And so at that point when I finally, wanted to get the help and come into True Purpose, I was in that state of mind. I was in that place. Literally, even my physical body was like starting to shut down. Kidneys were shutting down. I was having issues with my liver. Was having a lot of problems. And at 20, that's just not normal.
No.
So it was a byproduct of the abuse and the substance abuse and me abusing my body and just really me not wanting to be here anymore. So anyway, finally reached out and come into True Purpose. But I was in a really bad place, a really dark place. I was depressed. Again, probably a little bit suicidal even at that point. But I was hurting. I was broken. My family, got to a place to where they loved me, they cared about me, but I burned all those bridges.
Yeah, families get like that sometimes. They have to. Because, again, when you have tried to help so many times, but they're not taking the help and wanting to receive the help, that's where we get tough love.
Yes.
And sometimes, though, a lot of times that tough love saves their life.
And I praise God that my mom and my grandmother and other family members finally put their foot down and said, you need to get help. I wanted to get help, but they was like helping me get the help.
Yeah.
And encouraging me to get the help. And my mom was like, if you don't go and get help now, you won't have nowhere to live. You'll have nowhere to go. This is it. Yeah. And that's when I come into True Purpose. And so, we was at, when I say we, True Purpose then was in South Knoxville. That's where your office was. That's where our office was. There at the thrift store. Met with Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson was the first program director here. So met with Matt, had the interview and went through all that whole process. But anyways, long story short, I just was broken and was lost. And, from that point, you asked me about, kind of about the program and that process. From that point, really, until, I graduated, there's a ton of testimonies. There's a ton of stories I could share. But it was, I had to detox, not just my physical body, but like I had to detox spiritually. I had to detox my mind. I had to detox everything. I had to empty my whole self out. And it was not easy, especially the first month.
Yeah.
But, you provided, True Purpose provided a safe place for me to get all that stuff out. And then not only that, but, you all gave me the tools, the nutrition, spirit, soul, body. You gave me what I needed. So that I could complete the program, and not just complete the program, but to get where I'm at today too. So,
and that's what we say a lot about True Purpose Ministries is that we aren't the end all be all. I mean, we're not the perfect place, but we do provide a place to where you can come and get healing, man.
Yes.
You can come and get a relationship with Jesus Christ and ultimately find your true purpose in life. And so, man, it's so good to hear your story. What I'd like to do is do a part 2. And would you like to come back
Absolutely.
for another one? All right.
Please.
We're going to do a part 2. I want to ask him next time more about what happened to him in the program, and then we want to talk about Ben's life now. You don't want to miss the next episode because, man, for you to see what is going on in Ben's life and to where Ben was when he first came in, literally, probably people didn't give him a chance to live this life and to have the life that he has now. But the blessings that is overtaken him, the family, his beautiful children, his beautiful wife, I mean, everything that God is doing with him is absolutely phenomenal, and it's all Jesus. And so please come back for the next episode. It'll probably be next week, of course, but please come back for the next episode. Please hit the subscribe button. Please like this video as well. Also, if you're looking to get into this program, if his story resonates with you, please go to our website. There's applications on there. All you got to do is click the button and fill an application. It'll go straight to Carlos Garcia, and he will be giving you a call momentarily, and we hope to be able to help you. So until then, God bless, and please watch the next podcast.
Amen.
See you
Blessings.
later. God bless.